Well, hi everybody. My name is Peter Parker, aka to your eyes, the Toby Spider. Today, I'm taking a break from my adventures and decided to tell my part of the story. Like, how did I end up with them in the first place? Well, they'll tell you their stories, but first, let me tell you mine since I'm the original. Well, let me explain this for you. It all started when I was a kid. It was a happy little tale that I was just your average, ordinary guy. Well, somebody lied. Well, you see, it all started like just a normal everyday where I missed the bus and MJ always pauses it for me. And yet, Flash Thompson. Then later at the genetics lab, that's where I got bitten by a spider. It was a genetically designed super spider, which gave me organic webbing. After that, I test out my powers, especially towards Flash Thompson, who almost kicked me back there. Then later, that's when I discovered climbing. Soon, as my first suit, I went on this wrestling rig, and then all of a suddenly, let's see, how do I explain this? Because I kind of have memory loss back there. After that, I realized that the criminal named Dennis, who got away because I let him after I was cheated off, he killed my uncle, or at least I think he did, but I wasn't sure yet. Later, I chased him all the way to the other side of the river, and then later, I forgot about Uncle Ben's advice about with great power comes great responsibility. Then later, after that, I I used my powers to swing the city and save lives and capturing criminals. Everything was perfect until one day at the Oscorp Festival. That's when he came in. I keep hearing his out am I? That's when I met the Green Goblin. Hello, my dear. Well, in case you haven't noticed, my real name was Norman Osborn. I'm also a scientist myself. The reason why I end up like this, well, it all started when I was being funded by the general. He was expecting progress for the force enhancers other than the glider and the flight suit. Well, there were a few side effects. Then later after that, I tested myself, which came into a disaster. But disaster makes me power, hunger, and vengeful. Soon, he decided to put all the fundings to Quest, so I destroy them all, everyone. And then last but not least was the board of directors. They were removing me instead of realizing that I created this company no matter how many times I have sacrificed. And I was finally gonna finish everyone off until oh, impressive. Thanks. That's when I met the Green Goblin, although Jameson gave him his name. But then later I offer him a choice. Join me and imagine how much we can accomplish together for more than we can create. And then I said, are you in or are you out? It's you who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind. If you excuse me, I gotta save MJ. Wrong answer. I offer you friendship and you spatter my face. Ugh. Soon after that, I decided to pay him ransomly. First, I ambushed his Aunt May, and then later I kidnapped his girlfriend at the Brooklyn Bridge, and to make him see how much he feels. After that, I beat him up so woundedly, so wounded, he won't even stand a chance. Then later I decided to give him the strike blow, but not before I realized that the Green Goblin turns out to be Norman, who is the father of my best friend Harry. I couldn't bring myself to kill him, but he tried to kill me back with his glider. But I dodged and I was too late to restrain him. To save him. Ah! But then I said, don't tell Harry. But not before I put these elixirs in these bottles, because I will still come back. Well, after that, Norman died, and the Green Goblin was history. But my friend Harry, well, he never trusted me again. Not like this. After that, being Spider-Man was too much responsibilities. I keep losing my powers, and I keep getting late, especially with Dr. Kurt Connor's everything. Then suddenly, that's when Dr. Otto Octavius announced that he's planning to do some kind of fusion reactor. After that, while he was testing it, it exploded, and then that's when he became Doc Ock. Yes, I designed these arms to be nano wire. So that way, any fusion reactor, no human hand can really enter. After that, that's when the inhibitor chip inside just fried. That means these arms are controlling me instead of me controlling them. Soon I only have one last request. My machine was already working, so I decided to steal some money even though it's against my privilege, even though it's lazy work. After that, that's when I robbed the banks, but not before I realized that Spider-Man was running out of power. Yeah, I tried to web shoot you, but you kind of strike me back. I know. Then later I tried to fight him, but I did manage to save my Aunt May. But later after that, I lost my powers permanently, and then Doc Ock got away. And he already finished his machine. Now there's one little chore to enter. Soon after that, I decided to get the tritium that I need to power my machine. Later after that, I abandoned my oath to be Spider-Man. But not before I realized that I have to still help New York no matter what. Soon I saved a kid from firing building, and then later my Aunt May moved on. Well, I don't mean like dead, I mean she moved into an apartment. After that, I got my powers back when he kidnapped MJ, because he only wanted me. And for what reason? Harry needs you. On the contrary, all I want is that tritium. But if you do that, she'll die along with half of New York. Not my problem. Well, you already missed your parts. After a fight in this train and at the warehouse, I managed to overpower him. Let's see you scary out of this. After that, I managed to defeat him, but he was still standing, and he tried to strangle me, but not before I told him that the important things about science. After that, I restrained myself, so I abandoned my scheme and decided to help people by destroying the fusion reactor. After that, I destroyed it, and then after that, he drowned. Soon, MJ already know my secret. And then that was it. But yet, MJ still loves me, despite all the times she was dating my boss's son, John Jameson, who's an astronaut who went into space. And then later after that, that's when I encountered the Black Goblin Jr. I prefer New Goblin. In case you haven't realized it, I became this new goblin after I'm trying to have second thoughts. My choice is kill my best friend for murdering my father, or accept the real truth. who he is inside. After I shattered the mirror, I don't know how this happened. Soon after a fight last night, threw blades, and then I whipped your face. Get that web off me. After that, he lost his memory. Soon after that, I took him to the hospital for recovery. After that, he was reformed just for a moment, and then suddenly, that's when I encountered the Sandman. Actually, my real name is Flint Marco. Every day he's been robbing banks, and for what reason? Well, the reason why I end up like this is because, well, first I try to steal some money to pay for an operation for my daughter Penny. Otherwise, without it, she can die. That's why I have no other choice but to rob. I'm not robbing for greed, only health insurance. And I end up like this when I fell into the super collider after I was chased by the cops. Then later I was forced to do so. Then later after that, I tackled down the Sandman, but he got away. But later, I end up in vengeance when I realized that, or at least believe that he's responsible for the death of Uncle Ben and not Dennis. Yet despite that, I felt guilty. Later after this, I went after him when I got this alien goo all over me and it was stuck. After our brutal fight, I finally flooded him, and then I said one thing: good riddance. But Sandman wasn't one person I heard. Later I heard Harry when he recovered his memories. I protected you at high school, now I'm gonna kick your butt. That's what he said. After a brutal fight, I caused his face to fry. Then I realized I was hurting them too far, including MJ. I didn't mean for that to happen. So I decided to get rid of the suit once and for all. And I did, and then suddenly... Hey, Parker. Who are you? You don't recognize me? My God, Eddie. Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about. How did you end up like this? You're so right. Well, you see, the truth is, my real name is Edward Brock Jr. I became this Venom because first I was a photographer for the Daily Bugle. I've been planning to marry my girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, who was the daughter of the chief, Captain George Stacy. Yeah, I know that. He's the one who told me about Marco. Quit it. Then later after that, I was impressed with his new outfit. It felt like I wanted it so badly, and I did. All he did was destroyed my camera and got me fired. And now it's his turn to meet the flames of death. Only a much darker flame. But first, I recruited the Sandman. And I offer him a choice. You want to kill the spider. I want to kill the spider. Together, he didn't stand a chance. Interested? Fine. I'll help you on one condition. What's that? We go our separate ways. You save your daughter, and I'll be the lethal protector of New York. Because the real bad guy is Spider-Man. Since he didn't want to help your daughter, he won't even help me date. And then later after that, I try to convince Harry that to help me take out these bad guys because because we still have to help MJ. But he only said one thing: you don't deserve my help. Go fight them on your own. See how you like it. But all I can say was that she needs us. And then I try to explain that I didn't kill your father. He was trying to kill me. He killed himself. After that, he accepted the truth. None of this matters. You're my best friend then. After that, he finally joined me, and then we took them out. Harry managed to destroy the Sandman. But I still got the upper hand. Not this time. Get out of my way. All right, where was I? But then later I remembered that the alien had one weakness: sound frequencies. Soon I trapped him in there and made a lot of noises. I tried to get Eddie out after I got one of those pumpkin bombs, but he went back inside to be Venom again. Then he died and I was too late. I actually murdered someone, which was not intentionally. After that, Sandman came close to me and then he admitted that he didn't mean to kill my uncle. He was just trying to help him. After that, he floated away. Then I went to my best friend Harry and he finally admits that you're still my best friend and I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to hurt you, but none of this matters anymore. After that, he passed away. And then that's when I was depressed without him, but yet I still have just between me and Mary Jane. And then that's the end of the story. But for some reason, I've been returned for fate.